And I'm back. And what I'm going to show you here today is how I opened my truck door after I locked the keys in the ignition. Okay, so this is an older truck and it doesn't have remote entry. So it's just basically, it's a key to open the door, right? Okay, and what I had done was, normally I have this big ring of keys, okay? And I'm not going to lose that, right? That would be in my pocket. But that day it was hot. I had on just short pants, right? And I didn't want to have this in my pocket. So what I did was I took the ignition key off that day, and I was just using that in the ignition. And I would take just the key into the store with me, and the rest I hid in the vehicle somewhere, okay? So I went somewhere, I had to go check something else, and I came back to Home Depot, and you know, got my stuff together, my list and whatever I was going to go into the store with, get out and lock the door. And then I realized this key was in the ignition. I hadn't recognized that it was in there, because normally, if the keys are in there, I see this whole mess hanging down like that. Anyway, the key was locked in. That's the only key I had. So, all right, what am I going to do? I'm at Home Depot. Oh, it's a great place to, you know, have a breakdown or something like that, because, you know, they have a lot of tools, right? And as it turned out, you know, I was thinking near the end, I thought, well, they even have sledgehammers, you know, if I need one of those. But so what I did was, first, I looked underneath my vehicle. Sometimes in the past, with other vehicles, I've taken a spare key and I've hung it on a piece of wire up under the engine or around somewhere, you know. So I checked everywhere on the vehicle. I didn't have a spare key. And I wasn't close enough to home to call anybody to come down with another key. So I thought, okay, how am I going to get into this thing? So what I did was I went in and looked for, I was thinking, you know, how maybe sometimes you can get a coat hanger in. But if you look in this vehicle, I'll show you after, this doesn't have buttons up here that you can move back and forth that lock the door. All it has is this little button here, you can see it here, that comes up and down when the door's unlocked. That's all it is, and there's not much to grab onto there. Okay, so what I did was I went in Home Depot. I bought this snake. It's a small sink clearing snake, okay? And so basically, it came with a little bit of a twist on the end here, like a twisted piece of wire, and that didn't work. And I'll show you how I did this. Okay, so the first thing I did was I popped off this little piece of trim here, okay? It's just that little piece of trim. This little piece of trim here just pulls down and comes out, okay? Okay, so this trim for the window, I just pulled that out. Okay, I got that out of the way, just like that. Okay, and that gave me a little bit of a gap down in here. Okay, now there's a rod that connects that to the key mechanism. Okay, so it's operated by a little metal rod in here. So all I'd have to do is somehow get a hold of it and lift it up. So like I say, initially this had like a twisted thing for unclogging drains on it. So I snapped that off and I bent it, that bent this rod back. But what I did was I ended up snapping it off because I overbent it, right? So I just did it about like this, you know, not a hard bend. Then I took out a length of this and, oh, and I should tell you, before I did that, there was people, you know, asking me what I was doing, you know, and see if they could help. And sometimes on an older lock, like I was looking for people that had a Ford vehicle, and sometimes a Ford key will open it, okay, or even another type of key, because these door locks often get worn out over years. Like this is a 20-year-old vehicle, right? So sometimes another key, if it's close, even if it isn't cut exactly the same, it'll open the lock. So I got a couple of people to come over and try, and you know, they commiserated with me and they said, oh yeah, how are you going to get in there? And their key didn't open it. So anyway, I got this down. I put it down in there. Let's see here. I pushed in on the window a little bit and I got that down in there. Okay, now, and then I started fishing. And then I eventually saw where I could see that little button starting to move. And there it is. See, I'm getting it. See how it's starting to move? Almost. got it there. See that? Let's see. Aha! And that did it. And we're in. Now that you know this, use this for good, not for bad. But if you're ever locked out and you got one of these types of key systems, you can probably get yourself in there. Yeah, let's see if we can get that out of there without breaking the window. Seems like it's down about here somewhere. Somewhere where that linkage comes up. Like to say there's a better tool out there somewhere for this, but this is what I had. This cost me like 10 bucks. Just have to drive with it like that. I think that's okay. No one will notice that. That'll look fine, hey. Bit of duct tape on here. That'll be fine. I'm just gonna leave that there. Let's see if we can get that out of there. And there it is. I put that trim piece back in there. Put this little piece back in here. Yeah, that's working good. Very good. And that's how that's done. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.